The original Contra spent some time in the arcade before it released on Nintendo in 1988. During an era where game makers would try to adapt arcade experiences to consoles, the home port of Contra retained the tough gameplay of its arcade counterpart, but it delivered a genuine action experience to gamers in the living room. Back then, we didn't need a reason to run and gun through a few stages, exhaust all our lives, and then start over. Further, the experience was made better with a friend. Sadly, Contra as a franchise failed to evolve with the ever-changing gaming landscape, and I think we're all ready to forget Contra Rogue Corps even existed. But after playing Contra Operation Galuga, I think I've been looking at evolution all the wrong way. Contra didn't ever need to change. It was badass before, and it could be badass again. Thankfully, developer WayForward understood this and delivered a challenging and fun Contra experience, which had me thinking, if this ain't Contra, I don't know what is. Contra Operation Galuga has a fun, low barrier of entry narrative where Bill and Lance get dropped off on an island to fight the Red Falcon. Interestingly, the action plot dives into some Contra backstory, which is as cheesy as you could have guessed. The character writing, delivery, and plot are all as campy as you'd expect, with my favorite part being Bill or Lance having a casual conversation with this prisoner character while gunning down enemies. It's pure arcade nonsense, and I was completely on board with it. However, the in-missions cutscenes can't be skipped, so if you die after them, you'll have to watch them again. On the note of asking for extra options, I also wish you had the ability to retry from a pause menu. I hate to admit it, but sometimes I got shot right at the beginning of a stage and just wanted to retry, but couldn't. Now that I think about it though, maybe I would have used that option way too much, so it's probably good that they challenged me. Anyway, the story takes place across 8 stages, and during some stages, you'll enlist new members, Ariana, Lucia, and Stanley Ironside, who are playable after unlocking them. One unique element about these characters is how they utilize certain weapons, such as Stanley excelling in the laser weapon. They also have different environmental abilities, such as grappling to pull up to ceilings or even hovering for a bit. Further customization can be found in perks that are unlocked using points from clearing stages. 2 perks can be added to a character, but they do things like increase HP and add invincibility frames, so they're good to unlock if you're having trouble in the stages. But back to the story. It does set up some additional context that could spell out more entries in the future while unlocking new items and modes to sink into after completing. Back in my earlier statement about this being a true Contra game, I don't think WayForward changed much about the core design of the original Contra. When I first started playing, I found myself judging it against the retro-esque action shooters that we've seen before, but after stage 3, I shifted my way to thinking, no, wait, this is Contra, and I began to have a lot more fun. The nuances of this series can't be showcased with realistic graphics or a deep plot with a focus on character growth. What this game does well at is being Contra. And that's all I could have asked for. You pick up a gun, you start shooting, and you avoid getting shot. There are additional options to play with, such as one-hit kill settings, but I went for the health bar because I've become weak over the years. Rest assured though, Contra Operation Galuga is a very difficult game. Now, I say that, but this is mostly a comment against the actual stages, as they feature waves of enemies and platforming sections, and there's even a bike stage. However, the bosses can be pushovers at times, especially if you ride in with a powerful loadout. Weapons can be picked up from capsules during gameplay, but only 2 can be equipped at a time. If you collect 2 of the same weapon, you can unleash an upgraded barrage of bullets, which ends if you take any damage. My favorite weapons were the homing and Contra guns, but the spread shot will always be number 1. The laser shot appeared to be way too similar to the machine gun, which was a little weird, but it was way more usable than it has been in previous entries. Weapons also have an additional function where you can destroy an equipped weapon and utilize a special ability. I honestly didn't use this feature too much, but it is most beneficial when doing multiplayer, as you can really help your team members out by using this ability in a tough situation. The enjoyment of the game after completion comes from jumping back in and mastering the stages. There are higher difficulties, and the option to play with others makes it a pretty fun way to spend an afternoon. If there was something I didn't enjoy about the game, it would probably be the cutscenes, which were reduced to static illustrations of the characters. Further, I ran into a few animation glitches during my time playing, but it didn't really affect the overall experience. Contra Operation Galuga is the most Contra game I've played in years. It delivers that run-and-gun arcade action that's been missing from gaming and doesn't try to over-deliver or be something it's not. Great stage design and action remain at the forefront of each level, which just means a fun time for all those who play. Sure, something can be said about the story or missing options, but playing Contra Operation Gulaga felt like hanging out with an old friend that I hadn't seen in a while. It was more familiar than new, but that's the best thing that's happened to the series in years. Noisy Pixel is giving Contra Operation Gulaga an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. Check out our Patreon to help support our continued growth, and subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
Noisy Pixel.